one of the coolest things I tell a lot of people about Southern is there is an opportunity to make history. Good thing you're editing all this, not live.
Today I'm talking with Danielle McCauley, maiden name Tammaro, class of 2010. She currently works as a phys ed teacher and high school coach.
I would say I have a couple of favorite memories, but they all kind of relate around connections I had from my high school program. So I had the great opportunity to play again with one of my high school teammates, which was a really cool experience. And I had a couple former teammates who I were able to play against. So seeing those girls again on the other side of the field was a pretty cool experience.
That's awesome. Tell me about a teammate who inspired you back then or inspires you today.
So I lived with two of my teammates for 3 years, and they are still two of my closest friends. And we're all into very different things. My one roommate was our goalie and from Long Island. So, she's an absolute maniac. And my other friend and teammate is from Old Saybrook. So she is like this gentle, beachy soul. So Lacrosse at Southern brought us together, and just watching them continue to grow into an assistant district attorney. And my other friend is like an actually serious competitive like dog trainer, which is like just really unique to have in your circle.
What else did you participate in on campus besides lacrosse?
In addition to being a student athlete, I also had a couple of part-time jobs that I did. So I worked for Southern's athletic department as like a ball girl extraordinaire. So site maintenance, helping maintain the facilities, things like that with the equipment room.
What was your biggest challenge?
I guess my biggest challenge was increasing academic responsibility at the same time increasing my role as a student athlete. So I guess the biggest challenge I experienced was probably scheduling, but it made me a more proactive student athlete, and I couldn't just sit back. I had to seek out, opportunities for myself and make sure I was still getting the most out of those academic experiences too.
And education and nursing are obviously two of our best programs on campus and two that require that scheduling challenge. So what advice would you have for a current student athlete going through the same kind of challenge?
Just make sure you really communicate your expectations with your professors and people you're working with. I found that as long as I sought them out very early on and let them know who I was and that I was serious about the content, even if I fell behind a little bit with the nature of the schedule, most were eager to let you catch back up. And they wanted to see you succeed. I don't think I ever met anyone or worked with anyone at Southern who didn't want, those students or student athletes to be in a place of success.
What was something good about the program that you want to make sure that I, as a new coach, understand and continue?
You see what a very competitive D2 conference it is. D2 often gets a little overlooked, I think. But as far as conferences go, it's very competitive. So just recognizing that the opportunity is there and continuing to push the girls to know that they can be competitive. As an alumni, when I come to the alumni games that we have, that's a very exciting event, mostly because I get to see the excitement that exists amongst the youngsters and get to see the increase in skill level that we really have.
And you started to get into it a little bit, but what are your hopes and expectations of the program going forward?
I hope that we end up having some players who are really able to make a name for themselves. Women's sports in general, especially women's lacrosse, are starting to make waves, and we're starting to get some notoriety and support, especially with the professional leagues that are opening up. I would love to see some Southern names popping up in those leagues, seriously, and maybe making it to an NCAA tournament. That would be huge for the program, just qualifying for NCAAs and stepping a toe into that water.